Welcome to the program on demand forecasting. We are still in the introductory second session. We will just go through basic concepts about forecasting. I hope many people do forecasting in one or the other way, based on their own instinct, or possibly they may check the past trend, they may use a mathematical model or no, but they become popular when their forecast becomes good, but they become quickly dangerous or very bad if their forecast or prediction go bad. You can see some of the famous prediction about computing in those time. This was a quote from chairman of IBM in 1943. He says, "I think there is a world market for maybe 5 computers." Okay, at that point of time, he has told only 5 computers for the entire world, of course. And there were one popular mechanics popular magazine in 1949 told computers in the future may not weigh no more than 1.5 tons. Okay, possibly you can imagine what is the weight at that point of a time. So they were predicting what could be the possibilities. Okay, there is no reason anyone would want a computer in their home. This is from President Deck in 1977. Okay, now you can see not only at the home, schools, and not only with the adults, possibly with the children. And we are not only talking about computer, now we have laptop, tab, mobile phone, every other format is available. So you can imagine popular persons or even magazines prediction are going to end up with the wrong prediction. It's a few example, but there are a lot of cases like this where the prediction has gone wrong. Okay, forecasting is about as accurately as possible predicting the future given all the information available, including historical data, knowledge of any future event that might impact the forecast. So this is the process based on previous data and some additional external environment or internal environment. If you know certain additional information, you can incorporate and do the forecast. But you should be clear about the goal, why you need the forecast, what purpose you are using this forecast. You have to combine your goal with your forecast, otherwise forecast will not help. So goals are what you would like to have happen. Maybe you are trying to enlarge your market, you are trying to double your market share, okay, or you are trying to triple your net in profit. So that goal should be linked with the forecast plan. Maybe many time people doesn't bother much, so forecast is something different and goals are something different. But the goal and the forecast must be linked, and also you should have a planning. Okay, you should have a planning how you can execute to reach the goal. Okay, so you can see all these three works in tandem. Forecasting can be better utilized if you have a goal, and for reaching to the goal you need some type of a planning. And if all three works together, then you can see the real benefit of doing the forecasting. So all these three are required. We will see some of the case studies. We have seen very few in the introductory session, where all we can use the forecasting process, and what are the different situation you will be able to do the forecasting. You can take the case number 1. Here it is a large company manufacturing disposable tableware like a napkin and paper plates. They needed forecast of each of the hundreds of item every month. They may be doing hundreds of item, and they were looking for a forecast. This is a requirement from the company, whether you need to do at each level or a family level, that we are going to discuss in the future session. But clients want this. Okay, client is looking for this. When you come to the case 2, okay, it's a federal government from Australia. It could happen in any government. Government provides a subsidy for the population based on certain factors. Okay, here you can see that they want to fix an annual budget for program called pharmaceutical benefit scheme. Okay, you can see such things are available in many countries. Even government wants forecasting. Here we are talking about the annual budget. Okay, so it is also possible to do forecasting for annual budget. Okay, here if you take for this scheme, it was maybe a decade old scheme. The government provides subsidy for many pharmaceutical products sold in Australia, and the expenditure depends on what people purchase during the year. So it's a combination of two things. Maybe you can see the volume wise, they are talking about Australian dollar 7 billion a decade back, and they were having problem of over or underestimating. Over, normally you will see that in the budget it will be always underestimating, not overestimating. Possibly I take that as a bias. If you project higher figure, the government or authorities may not approve. So many times we will project less but spend more. Even in the organization it happens many times. So they were having a problem that every year they were deviating from the budget by, you can see, at least 15 or 20%, which was not okay for them. So this is the time they approached forecasting agencies to do a better forecasting, so that they want to minimize the difference. Okay, they wanted more or less accurate prediction. Okay, this is one more way of requirement. Coming to the case 3, there are a lot of car companies, not Uber and Ola, they are asset light companies. There are also far higher car companies, not so much popular in India because everything is localized. On a national level, it is very difficult to find car lease or hire companies. If you see in Australia, this once again refers there Australia. Here they want to find out the resale value of the cars. What they used to do is buy the car, run the car or lease the car for 3 years, and at the end of 3 years they used to sell the car for the best price, and once again take the new car. So they wanted some mechanism to calculate what would be the resale value of these cars based on the past data. Okay, it seems to be one of the new way of looking things. So if they have a data on what models, how much kilometers, and what was the previous resale value, of course we can calculate it. It doesn't seem to be much complicated. Okay, they purchase the new vehicles, lease them out for 3 or 4 years, and then sell them. Okay, better forecast of vehicle sales value would mean better control of profits. Okay, they are trying to improve the profits. Understanding what affects the resale value may allow leasing and sales policies. So here the goals and planning is also clear. They are trying to link up your prediction or forecasting with the goals and planning, okay, to be developed in order to maximize profits. So in your case, are you linking up your goals and planning to achieve the desired result? That is very important. Otherwise, forecasting is of no much use. Here, the target is clear. They want to maximize the profits. Here, they have taken one aspect of resale value of the car. Okay, we will see one more case study. Here, even in the aircraft industry, the occupation of the flight by the passenger is also a problem. They cannot overbook it. At the same time, they want the optimum capacity to be used to make the profit, and they are operating under different condition, different routes, with a lot of competition. So it may be possible they also want to have some type of a forecasting in terms of air passenger traffic. Okay, here this is also for some leading airlines. They wanted to develop a forecasting weekly air passenger traffic on major domestic routes. Okay, the company required forecast of passenger numbers for each major domestic route and for each passenger class. Maybe they had three classes: economy class, business class, and first class. The company provided weekly traffic data from previous 6 years. So you have tons of data available with you. Possibly you can also see the application. I remember that even in the cockpit you have a lot of data being recorded during each flight. There is a cockpit recorder which not only records the voice of pilots but also the engine operating conditions. Maybe you will be able to know what speed, what altitude, and other engine parameters. If there is any abnormality noticed, everything is available. But it is not so much clear whether all the airliners are using this data to improve their performance, because you might have seen in the recent MAX accident, two aircrafts at different countries nosedived and almost all people were killed in the incidents. So there was a discussion going on at that time that if these airlines used the data from the cockpit, because that was not the isolated instances, it has happened earlier also. Even if you take the second instances, even before that they were having minor abnormalities. So if they were able to analyze the previous flight data recorders, they would have prevented these type of accidents. Okay, so you can also think in terms of such applications, whereas here the passenger traffic also becomes important. Okay, but when it comes to industrial or organizational demand forecasting, we need forecasting for many reasons. Especially, we need to grow. Okay, we want to know what are the products where it's growing, considering the previous trend. Here also for the organization, we need a goal. Okay, for example, if your top line growth you are targeting 100%, if there is any misalignment between goal and forecast, you have to see how you can bridge the gap. Maybe you have to see whether you need to invest in additional capital investments, or should you go to the new markets and capture the new market, or it may be possible that you introduce some new products. So we are going to see demand forecasting related to organizational, specifically with respect to demand. And for a supply chain executives, that is more important in terms of inventory management. Based on the forecast, we ordered the material, and also there are a lot of process like MRP, which considers the forecast as the basic input. And if there are wrong forecasts, you are going to purchase wrong material, or you may have more inventory for a wrong material. All this can be avoided in having better forecasting model, or the model which gives the lower error. Okay, we are going to see lot of practical application with respect to supply chain management and inventory management. You will see that having a better forecast always helps in having a better inventory management. Hope you have understood. Thanks for listening. Bye.